Let me introduce you to the administrative interface to the 3CX product. After you install this software, if you just bring up all programs, you'll find a new program group here, 3CX phone systems, and this is where your log folders and files are. You'll find the management console and the My Phone client, which are HTTP type interfaces, browser interfaces, your wallboard and your management console. You can use the management console here on the actual machine, or you can use it from an internet connection through a browser. I've gone ahead and brought it up here on the actual server. Happen to have been on. I did this install on a Windows XP machine. Just for the lab. You will get this interface when you log in, and it's very straightforward, easy to read, and it's crossed by these extension status, the server activity log, your add extension capability, add a PSTN capability, your voice over IP capabilities. These are wizards for creating rules, creating DIDs. So let's take a look at some of the key areas. Obviously, your system extensions, you're going to play there a lot. In system extensions, it's important to note that there are a number of defined extensions, what we call system extensions, that have already been used for shared park extensions, for the FAC extension, for conference ports. So one of the first activities in the design of any telephone system deployment is the creation of a dial plan. You guys have to figure out, and by the way, you only get to do this one time, just one time, because once it's set, that's it, it's done, you can't undo it. So you're going to have to figure out where your extension numbers are going to live, where your trunk access codes are going to live, and you're going to allocate some number of extensions to the system facilities. So having said that, we've got the ability to list the different phone types we have, extensions and user groups that the extensions fall in for class of service purposes, set up your PSTN devices, your VoIP over IP providers, ring groups, the digital assistant. Let me say a quick word about this. It's one of the first things I look at because in many deployments it's important that we have the ability to have what I call tenant services. This means that if I want a different greeting for company A than you hear when you call company B or C, I'm going to need to have an ability to connect my different DID, DNIS numbers to a digital receptionist for each company. So 3CX, I was pleased to find, enables you to set up a receptionist, digital receptionist as they call it, auto attendant you might call it, and they're very easy. You can go ahead and select a digit and say connect to an extension, a ring group, a queue, another digital receptionist, dial 3 for directions to our place of business, transfer to voicemail. There's a dial by name capability, a timeout option, a fully formed auto attendant as good as I've seen on Cisco or ShoreTel. You can import WAV files for your recordings. So this was very, very impressive. I'm glad to see that that was there. After you bring up this software, I'm telling you, I think it took me all of 15 minutes, maybe 14 and a half, to add 3 extensions, add my SIP dial peers to my service provider, and begin making phone calls. It's very straightforward. Obviously, there's a knowledge of telecommunications and system design and configuration, but the graphical user interface, the message here is very straightforward, and those of you with some telecom background will be very comfortable here. Let's take a look at an extension. As you can see here, I've got a couple of extensions I defined, one of which is currently registered. Let's click on that, and I'll walk you through the extensions in greater details in a little bit later on. Right now, I just wanted you to see what we have here. Adding voice over IP providers. Generally, you get to do the same thing, and I'll show you how to do that later. The interface here can be reached through the exe file on the local machine, or you can go to a browser and bring it up in a browser. It's just the IP address of your VoIP, your 3CX server, port 5000, and it's /management to get right here to your management interface. Now, users on the system have the ability to pretty much do the same thing. They bring up a browser and they point to the IP address, port 5000, /my phone. And at this point, they can put in their extension number, and the system will bring up a web-based call control facility that will enable you to get some real-time information about your telephone system. So I can place calls here, type a phone number in here and hit the dial pad. You can check your voice messages. You can see your directory system. You can go ahead and make changes on your extension detail, which I cover in the extension clip. Set up your forwarding rules and your presence. So all of this is very useful and very leading edge, as they say. It's right up there with anything I've seen from ShoreTel and Cisco. So stand by and we'll drill deeper. Let me show you how to set up an extension because it's very straightforward. From the management console, you'll see here that you have extension status, server activities, add an extension. So if I go ahead and hit that, it's going to bring up a fill in the form type of GUI. Very straightforward here. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to feel this out. It's not going to tax your engineering skills. Let's take a look at one I've already set up in the interest of time. So you have a general forwarding, phone provisioning, other, and office hours tab at the top of the screen. Go ahead on the general tab and fill in the usual minimum daily adult requirement for setting up a new user on any system, right? Extension number, the user's first and last name, email address, a mobile number if you'd like to do some of that find me, follow me stuff. Authentication that will be used in a couple of different places, most notably the web interface for my phone. If you're unable to answer a call, will you allow a voicemail to be taken for this user? And there's some characteristics you can associate with the user's mailbox, including options for sending an email notification as a WAV file. Forwarding rules. I was really impressed with this because you see this on the big boy systems like ShoreTel and Cisco. But basically, these are call handling modes that say, when I'm available and I don't answer my phone, what should we do with the call? And there are some interesting options, like send it to voicemail, send it to my cell phone, send the caller to some other member of my team. You can even send it to a Skype number. There are just a variety of options here for when you don't answer. and for when the phone is busy. So now we have the concept of available, but how about when I'm away from my desk? And again, you have the internal calls, external calls, and you can handle them differently. What do we do when we're out of the office? And I have the ability to set up custom call handling modes and how to handle exceptions. The provisioning tab is something a system administrator is going to provide. It's going to enable you to put in a MAC address of a user, set up a model. Set up a model. I brought this guy up manually while I was playing with the system. I've got, let me see, someone else here that I have set up using the auto provisioning. So under the same phone provisioning tab, you put in their MAC address, you select from a very long list, eminently surprised at the number of phones that 3CX has enabled to be, has enabled phone provisioning for it. It's pretty powerful. The interface of the server and whether, VPN, etc. Busy lamp field for the properly provisioned phone as options. What do we add here? Configure user status and options. Put them. You, the system administrator, can put them in these various modes. And you set up office hours that basically auto enable the forwarding rules, right? So if business hours are 9 to 5, then clearly I must be in the available mode. If they're after hours, then I'm clearly in away or out of the office. So that was very interesting, a very full-featured interface for adding a user extension. Okay, let me show you how easy it is to add dial tone, outside dial tone to your 3CX. So we've got two choices here. We can add analog and digital traditional telephone lines, or we can add SIP trunks. So the first place I'd like to take you is over to voice over IP providers, add a voice over IP provider. You can do that either by clicking the add a voice over IP provider wizard or clicking over here. In either case, you come to the same place. You'll get a list of 3CX approved and certified providers. There's quite a list here. CBON, OpenIP, SIPNet, Skype for SIP. I mean, there's just a whole range. The people that I happen to use are not on here, so I would just go ahead and create that, type their name in here, and then hit next. You'll go ahead and add in an external telephone number, the authentication IP address, the authentication ID that you use to authenticate with your SIP provider, and of course your password. How many simultaneous calls? So generally, with most SIP providers, 2 talk paths are provided with, you get 2 peers for the price of 1. But if you want, you can get any number of channels. So we might put 23 in here to